took them to 3 NBA finals in a row. So if he does leave, to me, I think he did what he said he was going to do, and you can't blame him, if he try to make a move. So Chief Rockers, he said, let me get in here and, say what I got to say. And so he's saying, F the Cavs and the Warriors. Why everybody trying to build those 2 teams up? F them with 30 more teams. Well, Chief Rocket, because those are the only teams that really matter right now. You could throw Boston in there, especially with their situation. But we're going to talk about, what everyone seems to be relevant. So if there is another team that is relevant, Chief, please throw it in the chat. We'll talk about them too, but they better be relevant. They better be someone that's on the come up. Like I said, we can talk about Boston or whatever, but OKC, Houston, Portland, I don't know. Mike could go back to San Antonio, but hey, tell me, Chief, if you got something, put somebody in there, put their name in the chat. Gary G. Murner Joyner said, if LeBron does leave, he can make his name great if he goes to NY. That's not going to happen, Gary. That's not going to happen. And he's not going to go there. I've said this before. There's too much mess that you got to clean up in New York to get that team right. First is with the owner. The owner, he, to a T, no matter what, if it's someone that he wants to ride and die with, even if it's to the detriment of his team, for some reason, he figures that it's going to work itself out. And maybe he's thinking, I'm going to show everybody how smart I am and make sure this thing works. But right now, NY is not an option, especially the way Phil treated LeBron's homeboy. I mean, you really think he's going to go to New York after the way Phil did Carmelo? And if Carmelo leave? Nah. Carmelo is having them conversation with LeBron and telling him, how it really goes down in the NY. But, I mean, back in the day, it might have been, but not now. New York is not what New York used to be. New York needs to get back to it. Don't get me wrong. When they are relevant, basketball is great. So, but they got a lot of work to do, man, before they start talking about LeBron coming to New York or something like that. But, Chief Rocket said, Big L said that the Cavs was not getting out of the first round. Ooh. What? Big L, you didn't say that. I know you didn't say that, man. Gary G. Martin Jordan said, KD ain't great. He very good, and that's all. Whoa, Gary, I don't know about that. I think he was great, before he got to Golden State. I just think he was trying to figure out how to get over the hump, and he didn't know how. I mean, now I think he got it. He figured it out, and you get a championship and to take a lot of pressure off of you. So but he is very good, but I think he's great. Easy said, I'd rather talk about water polo. Chief Rice said, you never know who's on the come up until after the draft and free agency. Well, then, Chief, why you bringing it up now then? That's all I'm saying. And then Chief gonna say, the Knicks will be right and y'all better respect them and me. Chief, right with what? Right and left? That's about it. And he tells me, stop, Jelani, you don't know what's going on in the apple. I know what's going on. A lot of nothing. That's what's going on in the apple, Chief. Stick to the Yankees. Roll with the Yankees, because that's the best thing to go for New York right now. Rolling with the Yankees, because the Knicks are a mess right now. And blame Phil Jackson, for that. Shouts out to my man Rough Buff, who's just jumped in the building, and that boy 334 Bama boy. So he said 79 days left. So we are headed to football, is what Bama Boy is talking about. So, yeah, we are already there. Bama Boy says he don't think LeBron is going anywhere. He's saying, why? Why? Well, Bama, I will say this. He was thought that he wasn't going to leave Miami. And people were saying, why? And turns out, you don't want this to happen to people. I'm not wishing this on people, but it's good that he did leave because Chris Bosh having his situation. Now, D-Wade would have probably still been there, if LeBron was there, but that was one less superstar, and they would be in pretty much the same situation they were in when it was just him and Kyrie before Kyrie got hurt against Golden State. So you're gonna need three and a half people to go up against Golden State. You know, four if you can get it, but if you can get three and a half, you got a chance. With them. So, but we're gonna get off that. We'll get back to the whole Cavs and Warriors situation because we got a lot of time. A lot of time to talk about that. Chief and Bama already going back and forth. Chief talking about 79 days until the tie get rolled. So Bama boy, obviously, Bama boy is a Alabama fan. And Gary G. Money Jordan, I'm going to say this and then I'll move on. But he said if LeBron wants his legend to be even better, he would go to NY. And Chief, of course, agrees with that. He says, true that, G Money. I want to touch a little bit on football. We'll move into football, and we'll get back to basketball here in a second and some other sports that just broke today. But I talked about the Jets. No, I'm not, and I'm not going to, talk about the Jets in depth again because people got mad at me, about that. But the Jets released Eric Decker, wide receiver. So they basically is rebuilding. But, with Eric Decker at this point, he's 30 years old. He's a very, very solid number 2 wide receiver. I wouldn't call him a number 1. And he knows that. But he basically paid a visit to the Titans today, which I think would be a good fit, because you got guys like Corey Davis who they just drafted, looking to be their number 1. And he's a third guy that could go with that offense. And I think with Marcus Mariota, taking off, you got your two-headed monster in the backfield, DeMarco Murray, and then Bama boy, help me out. I forgot your running back out of Alabama off the top of my head. But you put him with those 3 wide receivers, you got something, that you might could do, with that team. There are some other teams that Decker could go to. Buffalo has been out there. They always could use some, wide receiver help since they didn't get Jeremy Maclin, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Derrick Henry, thank you, Bama boy. Derrick Henry for Tennessee Titans, they're running back, that two-headed monster, him and DeMarco Murray. So another team that I could probably see him go to that they need help would be the Rams. I mean, it can't hurt. Right now their situation is in dire need of some type of just quality wide receiver. So there will be some places that he'll fall into. I think it was crazy that they, had him hold out this long, or they held him out this long because they were trying to trade him. And I think a lot of folks knew, hey, we just don't do anything. He'll be a free agent, then we can go after him the way we want. But Eric Decker will get picked up, by someone, and we will see him on another team. But I think right now, I think he shouldn't leave Tennessee. I think he should stay right there. That's a good spot for him. They're talking about his wife. She does a lot of work, because she's a singer in Nashville. So that work out with the logistics as far as like for the family and everything. He doesn't have to stay in one city and she in the other, So I think, I think that might work, But so Eric Decker, good luck. We'll see, what happened, and we'll talk a little bit more as we get, closer and closer to the football season. Now, somebody that just, popped up in the NBA in the news will be my man Rudy Gay. So, if you haven't heard, Rudy Gay has just opted out of his contract with the Sacramento Kings, which I think was a very, very smart move, on him. So he gives up $14.3 million, which I don't think is really a big deal for him. He probably can get most of that back, just depending on where he wants to go. Now, we were talking about this earlier about Kevin Love and a trade, for Paul George. If that doesn't go through, Rudy Gay needs to get on the phone with Cleveland as soon as possible and say, hey, Can I run with y'all? You know how that is. You know how it is when when you were growing up or whatever, and you saw a team, and you're just like, man, if I get on that, we probably can do something. So you roll to the person that's picking, which is gonna be LeBron, and you say, yo, can I run with y'all? And that's another offensive firepower. He could easily replace Richard Jefferson. Now, he is coming off, an Achilles injury, so you really don't know what you're getting. But in Cleveland's situation, because they're over the cap, he could take a pay cut, for a chance to be around a team where they get a chance to make some moves. And if they get Carmelo, then, you could throw that in there. But Rudy Gay would be someone that I will be looking at. Boston themselves, because they were trying to get Jimmy Butler. They may get Gordon Hayward. We're going to get in Gordon Hayward in a moment. But consolation prize, this is what I'm looking at, as far as for those teams, because only one team is going to get, guys like that, like Gordon Hayward and everything. So a nice consolation prize will be Rudy Gay. The guy is a scorer. The guy, is looking for a fresh start. I don't think he'll be a problem at all because he was just going to be so happy to be out of Sacramento, which, everyone knows has been a joke, around there. So Chief said he is going to the Knicks as a shooting guard. Chief, why does Knicks fans do y'all just throw out, just every free agent or every person and just say they go into the Knicks? Y'all said the first time when LeBron was a free agent, he said LeBron going to New York. Then Dirk gonna end his career as a Knick. KD gonna come to New York. I mean, y'all need to get the interview first, man, before you say someone coming to New York. Get an interview. If you can get an interview, then you got a chance, And then Chief said, why not? Because I just told you why not. Why not? Because you not getting any interviews. So we need to stop this mess about people going to New York, Bama Boy he just changed his comment, but I think he was trying to say narcissistic or whatever. But Chief didn't want no parts of y'all. You should take anything you can. But Bama Boy said Knicks fans are on that narcotic. Oh, I thought you said narcissistic. So it's that narcotic, which you're probably right, Bama Boy, because again, it's like with Knicks fan, it's like no one has told them that they haven't won a championship since the 70s, and they just like, what you talking about? No, we winning it this year. So Chief, you guys got to get an interview first. I mean, if LaMarcus Aldridge didn't even give y'all an interview. Come on, man. Get the interview first. And maybe you need to change some other folks, in your office, and maybe you can get those interviews or whatever. But JB Jenny said Jelani Gay would be a good move for Cavs, but can they afford him? So yeah, JB, we were just talking about that. He's going to have to take a pay cut because they already $28 million over the cap. And at this point, Dan Gilbert, I mean, he's cashing in. Don't get me wrong, because they were not selling out until LeBron came back. So he would have to take a pay cut, but he possibly could. Here's my thing. You sell these guys, even trade, like going back to trading Love for Paul George. You sell these guys on 1-year deals. You sell them, say, look, where are you going to go right now and have an opportunity like this to get back to, or not back, but get to the finals? He can't go join Golden State. If he goes to Portland, that still probably is not enough. Damn sure don't go to the Clippers. I mean, they find a way not to win a playoff series. San Antonio, maybe. That might be an option, to go there. Don't get me wrong. But it's not like there's a plethora of places, to go to, So, hey, that's all I'm saying, That is all I'm saying. But I think if he takes it, which I think he would, sell him on 1 year and then just say, hey, we'll discuss next year. And if we can, we pay you, and maybe you just win a championship and you go on your way. Don't know. Chief Rocker said Bama. He going back at Bama Boy, but he said Bama fans is on that ooh wee, and Bama Boy said ooh wee of championships. Ooh, so he getting on you, man. But Gary G. Morton said NY is the mecca of basketball. Don't you ever forget that. Wait a minute.